Hello everybody, what's up, what's going on? My name's Kyle. Thank you for stopping by to check out my video here on my channel, Arena Hacks. Today I'm going to be looking at Kamigawa Neon Dynasties and some of the new mechanics that are coming with it, the pre-orders. That's actually what I'm going to be looking at first. Then the new mechanics that are going to be coming to Arena with Kamigawa Neon Dynasties, as well as some spoilers, just a few spoilers. I'm not too big into them myself. I like knowing some of the new cards that are coming out a little bit in advance, just to get me thinking about new kinds of decks and deck ideas. Other than that, I'm not too crazy about spoilers, so I don't usually look at them too far in advance, nor do I look at too many of them. I just like the excitement when the set comes out. So to get started, we are going to go look at the store, which has those pre-orders that I mentioned. But first, I just want to do a quick reminder to everybody, hit the thumbs up on this video. Also subscribe to my channel if you've been watching my content and you like what I've been doing. Please do those things. It's very supportive and helps the channel. So that being said, let's go to the store and take a look at those pre-orders that every season they have in MTG Arena. So it's these two pre-orders here. They usually have some unique cosmetic thing for each set. There may be some other things, just some alchemy stuff here. Holiday Fox, I don't know what that's all about. Cosmetic stuff. So here's, we got this Pom Pom Chan bundle here with the just sleeve, little emote things, and a pet. I'm looking at the pre-orders because they actually have the most value with them. They do have cosmetics that you do get in them, but they're mostly, in my opinion, just kind of free extras that you get with the bundle. So I always get this pack bundle here because I'm not too great at drafting. So these draft tokens really don't have a lot of value to me. So spending $50 on this pre-order bundle it just doesn't have that much value to me. You know, I'm getting the mythic rare Planeswalker and then a bunch of cosmetic stuff with draft tokens that I'm not going to get that much value out of. If you're ever curious what comes in these bundles and you can't tell just by looking at the pictures, it kind of shows everything in it, but you can hover over this little question mark in the bottom corner and you see that black box pop up and it lists everything off right there, what you get in this bundle. So the other thing in this that I would get value from this bundle would be the Mastery. It says somewhere. Where does it say? Yeah, it does do the Masteries Pass. Yeah, Kamigawa with first one on the list in the middle, Neon Dynasty Set Mastery Pass. So you don't have to unlock the Mastery up in this tab. You don't have to spend those 3,400 gems if you get this bundle. But like I said, there's just too much value I'm not getting out of this bundle, which is why I don't get it. So I get this for every set. I get 50 packs. You get a lot of wild cards that way by making your wheels go round. You also get a free mythic rare here with the style for it, as well as a sleeve, which is all just cosmetic, but it's pretty cool. We get that one mythic rare here. That's free, just one copy of it, and that's basically free because $50 is basically worth 50 packs in Arena. So that's the one I always get, and I go into a full breakdown of whether or not you should get one or both of these in my beginner's guide series, so go check that out if you haven't already, or if you're brand new to MTG Arena. I've got all kinds of great stuff there for growing your account, starting and getting your collection. Growing your collection is what I should have said, not account. Starting your account, growing your collection, all that good stuff. So go check that out if you haven't already. Other than that, that's pretty much my opinions on these two pre-order bundles. If you're good at drafting and you like both of them, there's nothing wrong with getting both of them. It's just more money you have to budget for per year because that's more money you're spending. But I find it's a good way to limit how much you spend in Arena as well, is just by using these pre-orders. So it's like, how much money do I invest into Arena while still kind of not going overboard and spending too much of my hard-earned money and stuff like that. Well, using these pre-order bundles, there's usually only 4 sets a year. Innistrad is a little different. They've kind of broken it into 2 sets, Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, so I'm not sure how that's going to play into it all, but usually it's 4 sets per year, so there's 4 of these pre-orders per year, and that's a great way to kind of budget yourself for this game and for this program, is just by only spending one or both of these every time a new set comes out, and it helps give your account that extra boost and all that fun stuff that I just mentioned. So that's my opinions on that. I hope that helps you all make your decisions on the pre-orders and whether or not you want to get them or not. And if you just want to make them your regular purchase, the only thing that you actually really spend real money on. And that's kind of how I limit myself. That all being said, though, now let's go take a look at some of the new mechanics that are coming with Neon Dynasties. And yeah, let's go check that out. Okay, so here we are on just the website from Wizards of the Coast. You can get here, I think, by there's this thing on the main page on the home tab, that main box in the middle that the picture cycles automatically. There's also 2 arrows you can cycle it through and look at whatever they're advertising. They usually have links here to come to these pages. I will include a link for both this page and the one that has their spoilers on it and that stuff, so I'll include those in the description for the video, so I'll just make it a little easier. I found the one for the spoilers. When you click on the link on the main home tab of MTG Arena, it took me to the spoiler page for which one was it? Midnight Hunt. And I was like, what? I tried it like 3 or 4 times. It always brought me there. So I actually had to take the name of this new set, Kamigawa. I highlighted, copied it, and I pasted it in the URL where they had Innistrad Midnight Hunt. I just swapped it that way, and it actually did bring me to the spoiler. That's the spoilers page, though. This was a little different. Getting here was easier. But anyways, let's start going over some of these new mechanics. I don't think some of them are really not all that new. For example, reconfigure here. It sounds kind of crazy, like, oh, reconfigure, what's that all about? The crazy thing about reconfigure is not actually reconfigure itself. It's actually the kind of new cards that they're bringing into the set that have reconfigure. They are artifact creatures, which is not new to Magic the Gathering, but they're also equipment. Now that's a little new, that it's an artifact, a creature, and an equipment all in one. So that's kind of new, and that's kind of crazy right there. Here's an example. The Simian Sling is a 1-mana 1/1 artifact creature equipment monkey. That's just really funny to say in one sentence there. But anyways, it's a 1-mana, 1 red mana, 1/1. And when you equip it to a creature, the creature gets +1/+1. The creature itself, the Simian Sling, when it's a creature, and when it's attached to a creature, whenever the equipped creature becomes blocked or the Simian Sling becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to defending player. The neat thing about this is the AI can exist as a creature or an equipment at the same time, or not at the same time. It switches. It loses a creature and is no longer a creature when it's equipped to another creature as an equipment, but when it's unequipped, it becomes a creature again. So that's kind of how it works. And the reconfigure is just a modified version of equip, is basically all that reconfigure is. The thing about reconfigure that's different from equip is that you can use it to unattach equipment, whereas the equip ability, the old-fashioned equip ability, only allows you to attach it to a creature. So if you have it on a creature, you can attach it to a different creature and move it from creature to creature, but the only way for it to become unattached is for that creature that it's attached to die, right? So, or to leave the battlefield somehow without the equipment, then the equipment becomes unattached. However, with these new kind of artifact creature equipments, they have this reconfigure cost, which is, like I said, the same as equipment, activated as a sorcery, all that same stuff, but you can use it to attach to a creature, but you can also use it to just remove your equipment from a creature. This is handy because, and it says this, explains this all in this, if you read this all when you come to this website. I'm just giving you my own summary of what it says here. And you can do neat tricks. For example, you can have the Simian Sling, you can have it equipped to a creature, attack with that creature, and post-combat you can use your reconfigure cost to take Simian Sling off of the creature, and now you have it becomes a creature again. It goes back to being this monkey creature that it is, and now you have a 1/1 to block with, right? Because the equipment doesn't attack doesn't tap when the creature that it's attached to taps, right? So you attack with that creature taps. Post-combat, you remove this equipment, it becomes a creature again, and now you have that equipment creature that you can block with. So there's weird little neat tricks, first strike things or whatever, double strike maybe. I don't know if there's any tricks you can do there, maybe you can. But that's mainly what the reconfigure is it's just a modified equip cost, and that allows you to unattach the equipment as well as instead of just moving it from creature to creature. Modified is just a term you'll see come up here, like this creature here, Akai Ember Keeper. Akai, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But whenever a non-token modified creature you control dies, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Now there's other cards in this set that are going to use this modified term, or the term called modified. What does that mean exactly? And even in the brackets of this card, it says here, equipment, auras you control, and counters are modifications. So if a creature has any of those on it, it is a modified creature. So any creature that has equipment attached to it is a modified creature. Any creature that has an aura on it is a modified creature. Any creature that has any kind of counters on it is a modified creature. Now, the auras or I guess equipment wouldn't be controlled by your opponent, but auras are. There are negative auras that make creatures weaker and have negative effects on creatures. Those auras are usually controlled by your opponents. Those do not count as modifications to your creatures when your opponents do that. However, any type of counter that's on your creature is a modification. So if your opponent puts a -1/-1 counter on your creature, that counts as a modified creature then. However, if your opponent enchants your creature with an enchantment that gives the creature -1/-1, that is not considered a modification. So I personally would kind of consider that still modified if it's got a -1/-1 enchantment on it. But that's just if you read the rules here on this website to confirm that with me. That's exactly what they say here, is that any counters, all counters count as modifications, but only auras and equipment that you control count as modifications to your creatures. So that's basically what this modified term means that you see up here. That's basically what it means. It just means a creature that has been changed somehow by something, except not auras that your opponents control. Anyway, sagas, nothing new there. If you've been playing Magic for a little while, they're sagas. I didn't even really read over this. I'm just like, yeah, they're sagas. These sagas, they flip. We've been playing with Transform for the last few sets now since Innistrad. No, there was Transform before that? I can't even remember. But we've been transforming and flipping cards since then. So the only thing different about these sagas is the last step. You exile the saga, return it, transform, so it flips, right? And it becomes whatever this creature is. And that's basically the only difference with these sagas. Every saga I've seen in Kamigawa, so far in the spoilers, they all have this. Their last phase is where they exile and then come back flipped, transformed into the other side, right? Which is always an enchantment creature. They start as saga enchantments, then they become enchantment creatures, which all have various abilities. This guy's pretty crazy here. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Kagachi? I don't know. Okagachi? Made Manifest? Whatever that is. So whenever this dragon spirit thing here, it is all colors. It's got flying and trample. It's a 6/6. And whenever it attacks, defending player chooses a non-land card in your graveyard. That card goes to your hand. And then this guy gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the mana value of that card. Pretty cool, pretty powerful dragon. Mythic rare. Kind of neat. So nothing too new with sagas, just they seem to all transform at the end. Other than that, they're just regular sagas. Ninjutsu. Ninjutsu is an interesting ability, or mechanic, or whatever you want to call it, that comes with Kamigawa. Some of these say they came with the original Kamigawa trilogy, but I don't remember ninjutsu or some of these other things we're going to get into. I do remember Bushido. I remember some kind of weird alternate way of casting, or you could cast it a second time, some weird arcane instances, and there was some kind of synergy with that. I don't know. But yeah, this seems a little different. I don't know, but they say it's stuff here introduced during the original Kamigawa trilogy. I was around for that. I remember buying those cards and playing the original Kamigawa, but I don't remember ninjutsu. It was a long time ago, though. Seriously, the original Kamigawa, long time ago. I was like in high school when that was a new set. Anyways, where was I? Ninjutsu. Back to ninjutsu. The neat thing about ninjutsu, and reading the card here is a little hard to understand exactly how it works. I had to go on and read some of this description down here to fully wrap my head around ninjutsu and how it works. But the way it works here is you attack with creatures you have on the board. If any one of them's unblocked, only when blockers have been declared, or after blockers have been declared, can you use ninjutsu abilities. So when that happens, you have an unblocked creature, You pay this 4 mana cost you see for this particular creature here. There are others that have ninjutsu costs, and the ninjutsu costs change depending on which creature it is. So this one's 4, 3 colorless, 1 black. But what you get to do when you cast that, and you can only use that when you have a creature that's not being blocked, you get to take the creature that's not being blocked, put it into your hand, take this creature that has the ninjutsu ability, and it goes onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, basically more or less in place of that unblocked creature that you did have, and you bounce back to your hand, is basically what you're doing with ninjutsu. Like I said, it took me a little bit reading this to kind of figure that out, wrap my head around it. But yeah, that's basically how it works. You're just swapping this card for one of your unblocked attackers. Pretty cool, I think, right? So if you're like, if you have your opponent thinks they're letting a 1/1 go by, doing 1 damage, no big deal. Then you ninjutsu, sneak it in, and ooh, now it's this big 5/5 that's dealing it. You're taking 5 damage instead of just 1. That's a 500% increase in damage. That's pretty crazy. There are other little tricks you can do with it too. For example, creatures that have first strike or something like that. You can let them do their first strike damage, and then you can ninjutsu in this creature to do more damage on like regular strike, I guess, so to call it, right? So that there's little tricks you can do there to really amplify your damage and get creative with this ninjutsu ability. Channel's another one it just gives diversity to cards. Well, not diversity, it gives versatility. That's what I mean, versatility to cards. So for taking this card here, for example, Greater Tanuki, whatever. It's a dog. I think it looks more like a bear with a raccoon head. But anyways, it's a 6 mana 6/5 with trample, which is great late game when you have the mana to cast it. That's a big trampling creature. Could be pretty handy to close out a game. However, if it's early game and you only have 3 mana, you only have half of that, maybe you've been stuck on 3 lands for a little too long, so you're nowhere near casting this, but you draw into it. It's like, well, now we can play the 3 mana channel cost, discard this card, and then search our library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So other cards with channel will allow you to search different types of cards from your graveyard, but they do, or not from your graveyard, from your library. I think, unless they're all lands. I haven't read all the cards with channel. We'll take a look at that in a few moments when we go look at the spoilers. But yeah, that's basically how they work. They add versatility, so you can, if you're not in a position to cast the card for its normal spell or its normal ability, you can use this channel ability to get different value out of it and kind of change things in the game. And that's about it. That's all they have on this website for mechanics that are coming up in Kamigawa Neon Dynasties. So that's my opinion, or my discussion on them, my take on them, and what they work. So let's go take a look at some of those pre-orders. Not pre-orders. Pre-releases, spoilers, that's what I'm trying to say, spoilers. Let's go take a look at some of those spoilers. Okay, so here we are on the spoilers page. Like I said, I will include a link to this in the description for this video. So if you're having trouble like I did with with Arena, and it's linking you to the old Midnight Hunt spoilers and not these new ones, you can use my link and it should get you directly to this page where I'm at here. So looking at some of them, we're starting with white. Seems like there's going to be a little bit of there's going to be a dragon spirit in every color. That's a mythic rare. Just looking at a few of them, they don't show them all yet. If we look, we just have 5 cards for white here. Blue is, let's see, 9 cards, only 5 for black, right? So we can see a few of them here. There's a mythic rare dragon spirit here for blue. There's also a white one here, mythic rare dragon spirit. So there's a lot of cool ones here. They all seem to have an ability when they die, choose one, and then they do 2 different things. So, you know, this guy, when he dies, you can look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanents with total mana cost 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order, or you can put 2+1/+1 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or a vehicle. That's pretty handy because you can put these counters on a vehicle that is not currently a creature, because it specifically says you can put them on vehicles. A vehicle is always a vehicle, but it's not necessarily always a creature. It's only a creature when it's being crewed. There are some shrines I noticed by the Go Shinte of Shared Purpose here. I haven't stumbled across any other shrines, so that's neat that they're bringing shrines back again. The first Kamigawa sets did it. They had shrines. They were the introduction of shrines with the Hondens. Then I believe, which was it, a core set? I think it was M21 brought back shrines, and they were, oh, I can't remember what they were all called. But then here we go, we got shrines again with Kamigawa. Makes sense. It is another Kamigawa set, which was the first set to introduce shrines in the first place. This one's a creature though, legendary enchantment creature. Shrines are always legendary. But this one's also a creature too, a 1/3, and it has the same thing. Instead of the beginning of your upkeep, which is when most shrines trigger, this triggers at your end step, beginning of your end step, and you can pay 1 for this one if you do create a 1/1 colorless creature token for each shrine you control. Some pretty cool white cards there that I'm going to skim over real quick. Go to the Wandering Emperor, and I'm going to stop here and talk about Wandering Emperor just because that's the card, the mythic rare, I'm going to get 1 copy of for free in the pre-order where you get where you get the 50 packs. This is the style. We're going to get the card style for this. We're going to get the card itself, 1 copy. And yeah, it's going to be cool. So it's got flash, and as long as the Wandering Emperor entered battlefield this turn, you can use its loyalty abilities at instant speed. And the neat thing about that is, well, all planeswalkers, you can only use their loyalty abilities at sorcery speed unless it says otherwise, like the Wandering Emperor here. But it also has flash, so for 4 mana, 3 loyalty, we get this planeswalker anytime we want, right in the middle of our own combat, right in the middle of our opponent's combat. It doesn't even matter if it's our turn, it's got flash. We flash it in, and then it's for that remainder of that turn, all of its loyalty abilities also have flash. So we can do them at instant speed. So we flash it in on when our opponent's attacking. They've already declared attackers. There's no planeswalker for them to attack. We flash in this planeswalker. We can do any one of its loyalty abilities. It will not die because even its highest minus is -2, and it comes in with 3 loyalty, so it will still be alive at 1 loyalty. And we can exile a tapped creature because our opponent's already attacked, so their attacking creatures are tapped already. Exile one of them. We can create another blocker if we need for -1, or we can +1 on one of our blockers, give it a +1/+1 counter up to 1 target creature, and it gains first strike until end of turn. So that can really help it survive combat and kill our opponent's creature. And our opponent didn't even know that was going to happen. We flash it in, boom, there you go. I think that's going to be fun. I'm kind of excited to get using that. That seems like it's going to be good, I think, in mono white aggro. It is relatively low cost for a planeswalker, and it's a great way to sneak in blockers, attackers, exile stuff. Like, I think it's going to be a pretty powerful one. Moving on to blue here, talking about some of these mythic rares here. So here's another one of those dragon spirits I mentioned, and again, whenever it dies, choose one. So in this case, and this one's a 6 mana 6/6. This white one appears a 5 mana 5/4. They all have flying, I think. Flying Vigilance. This one's got flying and ward 3. And whenever they die, they do something. So return any number of target non-land permanents with total mana value 6 or less to their owner's hand, or mill 6 cards and return up to 2 instant or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. The card in blue that I really got distracted by was, I think, Jin Gitaxias, however you pronounce that. Progress Tyrant. That sounds interesting. A Progress Tyrant. Progress, whatever. Legendary creature Phyrexian Praetor, however you pronounce that as well. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Copy of a permanent is a token. Whenever an opponent, this is what really gets me with this guy though. So you have 7 mana, for this 5/5, and you get this ability of making copies of all instances, sorceries, and artifacts that you cast. What? That's crazy. But wait, there's more. As long as he's on the board, whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, we get to just counter that. It's just counter that spell. Triggers only once each turn, but still, that sounds pretty busted. A free counter spell the first time your opponent tries to cast a spell every turn. Or no, counter the spell is trigger only. Okay, so yeah, whenever they cast an artifact, any one of those type of spells, you counter it, and it triggers once each turn. But there's no like counter it unless they pay 2 or 3 or whatever. It's just counter it. Just counter it. Whatever. The reality chip. Oh my god. Azorius players, control players are gonna love this. 2 mana, 0/4, so it's gonna be a great blocker for them right out the gate. They get to look at the top card of their library anytime. Kind of sounds like cheating. As long as the reality chip is attached. Oh, this is one of those artifact creature equipment things, right? So as long as the reality chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. That kind of sounds like cheating, right? Reconfigure for 3. Yeah, that's not cool. The reality chip. So yeah, that's the reality chip. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about that. Something cool I noticed, especially when I was looking at this earlier and I got to the multicolored spell, is looks like we might have some decks, some Dimir Ninja decks. I say this because we got a decent uncommon right here, Ninja. 2 mana, 2/2, has ninjutsu, gives all other ninjas and rogues. So Dimir is already a good color for rogues, even though since the last rotation, rogues took a big hit and aren't nearly as good as they used to be last year. But maybe they'll come back in the form of ninjas with this set, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, ninjutsu abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. That's kind of crazy. Other ninjas and rogues you control get +1/+1. So that's pretty cool there. That guy seems pretty powerful. It also goes well with this, making our ninjutsu costs less. This guy, whenever you activate a ninjutsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order, or in any order. That's basically like the one from that, is it Giants deck that I did, Glimpse of the Cosmos? That's basically exactly what you're doing. You're looking at your 3 cards, one goes in your hand, rest on the bottom, in any order. So yeah, in any order, this ability only triggers once each turn. Still, that's up to get that triggering for free when you're doing ninjutsu stuff. Sounds kind of busted. And you're drawing extra cards now all of a sudden. Each creature card in your hand has ninjutsu, so even if you don't have ninjutsu creatures in your hand, this guy gives them ninjutsu for 4 mana. You have silver for a master on the battlefield. Now they only cost 1 blue, 1 colorless, 1 blue, 1 black, because he makes them less, right? So these guys can work together really good. We have a planeswalker up here, Kyoto Shizuki. Don't know if I'm saying that right either. At the beginning of your end step, if this guy entered the battlefield this turn, he phases out. So he's kind of got his own little makeshift protection from your opponent attacking him right out when you play him. So you can play him -2. He's now got 1 loyalty, but you don't have to worry about your opponents attacking him because at the end of turn he phases out. Only does that for your first turn. He'll phase back in on your turn, and from that point on, you have to worry about your opponents attacking him. But for that first turn you play him, he just phases out, and your opponents can't touch him until your next turn. So that's pretty cool there. He's got his own little makeshift protection for a little while. Draw a card, then discard a card unless you attack this turn. You can also, for -2, create a 1/1 blue ninja, so there's more ninja synergy right there. You get this token, and he can't be blocked. He's an unblockable 1/1 ninja token. Pretty cool there. So he creates ninjas. Card draw, discard. His ninja that he creates is unblockable, so it's easy to just attack in, then plus up and draw a card. And then you don't have to discard because you attack this turn with your unblockable ninja creature. And then the -7, you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a blue or black creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. That's pretty busted, as most ultimate abilities are pretty busted. Some other cool multicolored cards here. I skipped ahead to this just because, like I said, I noticed some good ninja stuff. I thought of it when I first got to Thousand Face Shadow here. Blue ninja with ninjutsu. Whenever it enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, so basically whenever you use its ninjutsu ability, is basically what that's describing, then you create a token that's a copy of another target attacking creature, and the token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking as well. So if you have like a big ninja that's attacking in this guy, and then you ninjutsu this in on another little creature that's unblocked or something, then you get to create a copy of that. Target attacking creature, the token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. So maybe it's a big creature that doesn't have trample, and then you have a couple of the little 1/1s. One of those 1/1s is getting through unblocked. You ninjutsu Thousand Face Shadow in its place. It deals its damage through, or even in that moment, you get to create a token that's a copy of that big creature that doesn't have trample, that's being blocked. It's tapped and attacking, and all of a sudden it's not blocked because it just came in after they declared blockers and attacked them for big damage. So there's lots of neat little tricks with ninjutsu. Dimir is definitely a control combination of colors, and I'm just seeing a lot of things come together already. We have another couple ninjas over here. This is a pretty good one with Ninjutsu 3, a 3 mana 3/3 with ninjutsu for 3 as well. Biting Palm Ninja. I like that name. Look at his palm too. It's got a little tongue coming out, little teeth on it, and it's gonna bite you. Anyways, and this guy goes after your hand. He attacks your opponent's hand too, so it's kind of funny. Biting Palm Ninja, where was it? Enters the battlefield with a menace counter on it. Whenever Biting Palm Ninja deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a menace counter from it. When you do, that player reveals their hand and you choose a non-land card from it and exile that card. So you only get to do that once, then he loses his menace counter. He always enters with a menace counter in, and whenever he gets combat damage through, then you get to do that ability. You get the option of removing that menace counter to look in their hand and exile a card. So you don't even need to use his ninjutsu ability to get the damage in because he has that menace counter anyways, so that is a form of evasion. You can play him one turn, attack with him the next, and you're probably pretty good. Nice ninja here, common. We were looking at that already for the mechanics and stuff. Invoke Despair looks really awesome. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life, and you draw a card. Repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker. So if your opponent has all those permanents, they have to sacrifice one of each. And if they're missing any one of them, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. If you're playing against a control player who doesn't have permanents, has like all instances and sorceries, that doesn't matter. That's 6 life lost to them, and you get to draw 3 cards for 5 mana. This is actually, I think this is going to be a really good card for like mono black control, because there's no matchup where this card would be bad. For 5 mana, you're getting insane value out of this. You're making them sacrifice lots of stuff, or they're just losing lots of life and you're drawing lots of cards. Either way, no matter what matchup you're in, it's like this is doing work, like good work. I can see this card being big in mono black. Why do I say mono black? Because look at how much black mana you need to cast it. A lot. So that's pretty cool. Lethal Exploit looks like a really good common too. -2/-2 instant, or -2/-2 until end of turn, 2 mana instant. And you get to, for each modified creature, it gets increased by -1/-1, so it becomes -3/-3 if you have 1 modified creature that you control when you cast it, or as it resolves. How does it worded here? Creature as you cast this spell. So it's as you cast it, how many modified creatures. If you have 1, it becomes -3/-3. If you have 2 modified creatures, it becomes -4/-4. With only a couple modified creatures, this can become a very powerful 2 mana removal very quickly, and it gets through indestructible because it's a minus effect. Really cool stuff. We got another one of those dragon spirits here for red, 4 mana 4/4 flying trample. When he dies, like I said, when they die, they do one of these 2 things. You get to choose, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until end of your next turn, you may play those cards, create 3 treasure tokens. Pretty cool there. They're all mythic rare. Some of them I'm not sure if they're all that good. There's that Samayan Sling we were looking at earlier. Goro, Disciple of Ryuzi. A legendary creature, goblin, samurai. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Is red burn? Mono red going to come back with some of these cards? I don't know. This looks pretty good. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Only for 1 mana? Not bad. 5 mana, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control an attacking modified creature. Probably won't be too difficult in this set. So some good red cards there. I'm going to skim past that. Here's another really cool looking mythic rare that I was reading over earlier, and there's the Greater Tanuki when we were looking at channel. Here's it. I'm going to scan through quick, see if I can find any other channel cards here. Okay, these lands here, channel, discard this land here, create two. So you do different things. It just is a different way of getting value. So with these lands here, the value I see them is they give you an alternate thing if you're drawing too many lands late game. Like with the example we had earlier, the Greater Tanuki, it's like if you draw him too early and you don't have the mana to cast him, he's got that channel ability to help you get mana to cast big creatures like that or big things, spells like that later on. Now these are lands that have channel, so the way they work is if late game you already have lots of mana and you draw these lands, you can then use their channel ability, discard them, and then do whatever they say on them. They say different things, right? So that's pretty cool there with the channel. It gives you versatility and options. Kodama, the West Tree, or Kodama of the West Tree. This thing's pretty cool. A 3-mana 3/3 with reach. Modified creatures you control have trample. Pretty cool. A nice little trample is always great to add to anything that's equipped, counters on it, other things that make it a modified creature, I don't know, right? And it gets trampled then. Pretty cool. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So that's pretty cool. You get more ramp here every time a modified creature of yours deals combat damage to a player. Combat damage? Yep, combat damage to a player. Pretty cool. Already looked at some of those things here. This mirror box. I have a suspicion that this might get banned. It just, when I start thinking about the potential that this artifact can do in the game, it gets kind of redonkulous. So let's look at it here. A mirror box is a colorless artifact for 3 colorless mana. First thing it says here, first line, just like what the heck. The legendary rule. It doesn't apply to permanents you control. You can have multiple legendaries. You can have 2, 3, 4 Magdas on the battlefield if you want. You can have multiple shrines of the same shrine. You can have, like, these are all legendary stuff. You can have multiple Meat Hook Massacres. You can play one, board wipe, get the effect from when the creatures die, play another Meat Hook Massacre, board wipe again, have both of them stay on the battlefield. Now you're getting double triggers for each creature that dies from your Meat Hook because you have 2 of them. That's why Meat Hook was made legendary, so you couldn't do stuff like that. So you couldn't break the cards. This is allowing you to do that now. This is why I feel like there might be a ban for this or something. I can just see some, like, we already have Bard class decks which rely heavily on legendaries. You throw a couple mirror boxes in there, it's like, what the heck? What the heck, guys? Each legendary, I haven't even gotten onto the next line yet, and I'm already like, what the freaking heck, guys? So anyways, each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1. Okay, yeah, Bard class decks, here we go. Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control. So now you're encouraged to have creatures with the same name. So you inject these into a Bard class deck where almost all your creatures are legendary already, and now you don't care about having multiples of them. You want multiples. They pump each other up when you have multiples, and you're allowed to have them. You can have 3 Toskies on the battlefield. Every time one creature does damage to a player, you're getting to draw 3 cards from one creature doing damage. Like, oh my god. Like, this is what I mean. Like, you can just start thinking of legendary creatures or any legendary permanent and having multiples of them on the battlefield. Yeah, I just think of that and it just scares me. Like, ugh. Anyways, moving on. Sagas here. I already went through some of those, or just looked at this one here when we were looking at the mechanics. They're sagas. You read them, they do stuff. Sagas, there's some good ones. The Dragon Kami Reborn seems kind of cool. Complicated, I'm not sure how useful it's actually going to be, but you get creatures for free kind of when other dragons you control die. Seems complicated. But yeah, and that's basically the end of it there with the sagas. So I think I'm going to wrap it up for looking at the spoilers. I mean, I could literally just spend hours here going over all these cards and discussing with you. I'm going to have the link of how to get to this website in the video description, so go check that out if you want to read this all and scroll through this all on your own time and look at all of these cards here. You can go ahead and do that. Like I said, the link will be there. And yeah, that's about it for the spoilers. Okay, so there that was everything for this video that I'm doing today. Talked about the pre-orders, talked about the new mechanics in the new set coming up, and also looked at some of the new cards and the spoilers that Wizards of the Coast has released. I hope you've all found this video useful, helpful with the pre-orders, and any tips and advice you were looking for there. I hope that was helpful. I hope it was helpful if you maybe were here on this main page and you were clicking it through. Here it goes. This is supposed to give you your previews here. You click on that, go to your web browser, and Midnight Hunt, like I was telling you earlier. What's up with that? Anyways, going back to Arena here. So that's what I was telling you about. Yes, use the link I will provide in the video description to help you get to that website I was on more easily. And yeah, I hope this was all helpful. And if it was helpful and you liked it, please hit that thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. Also subscribe if you've been watching my videos and you like what I'm doing. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It makes it easier to watch more of my videos in the future whenever I upload them. And it also supports the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of all this. And I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.